Movies are money-making machines. With ongoing massive competition, each movie tends to have some uniqueness to engage the audiences. The expectations are high, and it requires a nice-looking budget to get huge profits. Filmmakers often create monumental sets and destroy lavish sports cars. Some scenes cost millions of dollars but hardly last a few seconds. In 2019, the revenue generated by the North American box office reached $11 billion, and its highest-earning movies were The Lion King and Avengers Endgame, with profits of $260 million and $356 million. These incredible scenes make movies, and today it is all about the most expensive movie scenes ever filmed. Number 10. War and Peace: Battle of Borodino. The fourth part of this motion picture, based on Leo Tolstoy's novel, released during 1966, it was one of the most expensive movies ever made in the Soviet Union, with a gigantic cost of $100 million, with a worth more than $700 million in today's money. One of the biggest challenges for the director was to present the Battle of Borodino that took place in September 1812, when Napoleon invaded Russia. The 130,000 Napoleon army members fought with 120,000 Russian troops, losing 75,000 people. This was decades before CGI used to create effects for Lord of the Rings. The battle scene was an hour long, with an extensive supply of costumes, props, and over 100,000 Red Army units. There is not any estimated amount for this part, but an approximate cost for this 1-hour shoot would be more than $100 million. Number 9. The Matrix Reloaded freeway scene. One of the most lavish and creative car chases from Wachowski is the sequel of The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded. They rejected the choice of creating digital effects and invested $2.5 million on a fake freeway in Alameda, California. They fenced this road with a 19-foot wall from plywood and timber to give finishing effects of concrete with dreadlock entities, car rolling, motorcycle acceleration, taekwondo moves, along with high-speed vehicles. This is the favorite Matrix fans scene because of distinct road and truck signs. General Motors offered 100 cars for the scene, and they were all trashed. Some parts of the scene look like CGI, but they are for real. It was a fascinating real-time stunt when Agent Johnson jumps in front of the bonnet of a racing car and crashes it. The director Wachowskis wanted real stunts and wanted to have the best people in the world. The ultimate results are breathtaking and memorable in the cinematic world. Surprisingly, the total cost of this scene was never revealed publicly, but the average cost for the freeway was $2.5 million. With 100 destroyed cars, so it's not surprising that film lovers are estimated the cost to be above $150 million. Before we move on, leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be the first watching new episodes. Number 8. Car Race in Spectre. When we talk about Bond, the first thing besides having wonderful gadgets, evil and genius characters comes with a series of luxurious automobiles. Having a 007 from an Aston Martin DB5 company makes a fantastic attribution to a flashy list of automobile collections. The film continued its tradition by presenting Daniel Craig in the front seat of stylish Aston Martin DB10, especially produced and presented in the film. The estimated budget of the movie was around $300 to $500 million, but this new James Bond movie destroyed approximately $37 million worth of Aston Martin. The DB10 was competing in an engaging chase with a Jaguar CX-75 at the speed of 110 miles per hour from the narrow roads of the Vatican. These two cars were only constructed for Spectre, making it challenging to estimate their actual price. Number 7. Chariot Race of BenHur. We can't imagine the actual scope of production behind a magnificent movie like BenHur. The picture based on 1959 Lew Wallace's 1959 novel and a remake of a 1925 movie with a similar name. The extravagance of the movie made it memorable among audiences. The thrilling and stunning story provides the audience with an opportunity to enter another world. It took 5 years in the movie's preparation for production work to include 300 sets, 9 sound stages, 148 acres of land, and thousands of extra cast members in the movie. The city was set in Cinecittà Studios, Italy, which is one of the biggest sets of all time. With a team of 750 members, they built another set in Antioch. The target of creation was to portray the race between Masala and Judah Ben-Hur. The scene shot for around 10 weeks, and with the cost of around $4 million at that time, this scene wins a prominent place on this list. The The amazing thing is that 4 million of that time are equal to 34 million today. It is undeniable that the actual thought for the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer was to attract the audience to the theaters. His investment paid off, as BenHur is one of the highest-grossing films in history. Number 6. Speed 2 Cruise Control Crash. A thing can't explode if travels below 50 miles per hour. In the 1994 version of the movie, the LAPD officer Jack Traven had a task to disarm a runaway bus that would explode if traveled below 50 miles per hour. Assisted by Annie Porter, who were at work to keep the speed in a safe zone. This blood-freezing movie not only rocked at the box office, but also Bullock recreated her role in the movie Speed 2 Cruise Control, which is the unluckiest character in the award world. When Porter is enjoying a relaxing time on Seaborn Legend, John Griggs slashes the system, and the ship collides with an oil rig. The scene is fully loaded of chaos when the ship collides with a tranquil town on the island of St. Martin. Define the screenplay of the movie on a series of nightmares. Director DeBont was targeting at the real actors for the practical effects. Therefore, a 300-ton replica of the ship rocked in and stretched over a 60 feet deep ocean. The computer-generated effects were expensive to acquire those days, and a CGI version of the scene would cost around $500 million. Yet this 5-minute scene became one of the most expensive scenes in the history of Hollywood movies, with a huge bill of $25 million. Number 5. The Last Knight's Junkyard Scene, Transformers. Michael Bay is known for his work of making tremendous explosions of bombastic movies. His thirst for the robots and turning them into different things earned him an average box office collection of $4.48 billion. While audiences did not bother to review the movie fairly, it was a massive budget movie worth $217 million. An impressive amount was in the big pockets on the selection of the location of a specific scene. The producers wanted to maintain the continuity of the movie like the previous one. They were looking for a junkyard with a Google image search. However, they found it near the Deer Valley Airport by spending a vast amount on shooting this single scene. 10-day shoot with 40 local people and 50 vendors to work on the scene was in place, with accumulating 3,000 hotel nights during the movie. 2-month location expense was around $15 million, without including CGI and other expenses. Number 4. Saving Private Ryan's D-Day Landing. The Second World War left around 56.4 million people dead during 6 years of conflicted history. It is one of the most lethal, nerve-wracking, and bone-chilling battles. The D-Day landing marks the largest seaborne attack in history. A person who is not present there can never know the actual portrayal of it. Director Steven Spielberg presented Saving Private Ryan in 1998 by depicting the Allies on Omaha Beach, a fully loaded, blood-squeezing, and heart-grabbing tense sequence and the greatest battles in the cinematic world. Tom Hanks performed extraordinarily during the 25 minutes opening scene through explosions, dodging bullets, and blood-soaked sand at the German shore. The movie earned an Oscar for being the realistic, heartbreaking, the finest film. It was shot in 4 weeks with 750 cast members on board. Being unable to shoot at Omaha Beach, the director Spielberg shot the movie on the east coast of Ireland. Taking an estimated magnitude of the scene, it represents a budget of $12 million. Number 3. Superman Return to Krypton. The Quest for Peace portrayed the Superman Return to Krypton in a dynamic, impressive, and fascinating visual effect. This enthralling movie restores the return of Kal-El after 20 years of Superman 1. The heavy sequence of CGI is highly captivating by presenting smart and slow-paced science fiction effects. Coated with harsh tone of the scene is this scene stands out as compared to the rest of the movie. The saddest thing is that it required Warner Brothers to delete it from the last part of the movie. It was a courageous sequence to decide the homeworld of Superman with an average cost of $10 million, which makes it the most expensive scene in history that ever created and then deleted. Superman Returns received the love of the audience and positive rating with a collection of $391 million. However, it did not do justice in developing the imagination of the viewers. Number 2. Brooklyn Bridge Falling Scene. Dr. Robert Neville, Will Smith, wanders around the post-apocalyptic streets of New York while finding a cure for the vampire's virus. To create feelings of distress, isolation, and loneliness, director Francis Lawrence emptied the streets of the Times Square. With the spending of $5 million on a single scene, the movie was to portray the heart-rending separation of Neville from his family. In a flashback scene, we saw Neville fighting isolation with his companion Samantha when New York was in quarantine after evacuation. His family gets on a helicopter to escape a fight against time, but it was a breathtaking moment when the military bombed the Brooklyn Bridge. The quest for redemption ends when Neville's family disastrously dies under the fallouts of the burning bridge. They used a reasonable amount of digital magic to create a fair impact on the missile. 6 nights, along with 1,000 extras, crew members of 250, and 14 different government agencies. This was gigantic. Number 1. Times Square scene of Vanilla Sky. After establishing a questioning confusion from the very beginning, when David Ames, Tom Cruise, wakes up and drives his vintage Ferrari through the streets of New York. David is a millionaire playboy with perfectly groomed hair. He drives around the empty streets of Times Square, which is a daily passerby for approximately 0.3 million people. The scene creates the first illusion appearance in the movie. The streets were empty when David abruptly woke up. A therapist concluded it as a dream, a fake awakening. The scene lasts for 30 seconds to question our connection with reality and dreams. Director Cameron Crowe had a contract with the NYPD to clear off streets between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. on Sunday, November 2000. The ultimate results were spectacular, but it cost more than $1 million for a scene of 30 seconds. Thanks for watching. Leave the comment down below and let us know what do you think. Don't forget to subscribe for new and upcoming episodes.